Hello, everyone. This is Daniel, and I'm going to be telling you the reason why I think the reason why I know God's wisdom is completely unmatched. His wisdom is unmatched because he was telling me things that blew my mind, and I was really just very confused with what he was saying, and obviously that was just because his wisdom was much greater than my wisdom. I was trying to, I mean, I understood what he was talking about. He was talking about how he was creating the earth and how he was basically how he created plants and humanity. What was really confusing me is how on earth he managed to do that. He said he basically created humanity from the ground up, and obviously he created us with the dust. But obviously, where did the dust come from? So part of the dust may have come from the ground when he was creating the foundation, but obviously there's a lot of confusing ways. I mean, my mind can't get around on how God really created humanity. And it's like it's like he's really trying to tell me that he's much wiser than anyone else in the whole entire world, even though we think we're really we're really wise. So really, honestly, it's what I'm trying to say is because we're made out of cells, we're made out of atoms, but he may have just basically formed things in the dust, clay particles wherever, and formed this wherever it was. I don't know, and breathed life into that. You know, this particle and made atom. But then life's carried on from there. But still, I mean, a tree growing from the ground, which is really mainly of dirt and rock, which is really made of rock. That's yeah. I mean, again, I can't even get my mind wrapped around how I managed to do that. And I mean, I'm just trying to think. I'm just like, where did he get life? I mean, obviously, cells were created somehow, and it came from the ground somehow. But let's see. First, he creates the plants. The plants came out of the ground from some seed that planted in the ground. Oh, my mind's fuzzy. You know, this is me trying to think about what God is doing without realizing that humanity is limited. I can really preach, but I can't be God. This is a good reason why we cannot be God. We can basically listen to God and do things that God is telling us to do. So, really, in reality, we can actually, in one hand, know what to do by instruction, but not really by how God knows what's going on. And quite honestly, we really can't understand what's going on. We're sheep. We don't we really don't know how to actually comprehend with God's wisdom because I mean when Job with all of his wisdom basically thought he could actually understand the earth or the space, he really couldn't. He couldn't even understand what space was made out of. It was made out of basically what we call like like oh, what do you call that? Like lines of curtains. It was basically made of curtains and also made out of the line, like not the lines of the ropes. It was made out of like ropes and curtains of space. He didn't know that, and God told him that. And obviously, Job was really confused. He didn't know what he was talking about. Now I don't know what God is talking about with how God created the earth. I just don't know. So really, honestly, there's no way to tell how we could actually know about God's wisdom because it is too great for us. I mean, waited all that time ago, whatever that time is, we don't really understand what he actually did. And another thing is, how does he stitch our bodies in the womb? And how does he know spiritual warfare? I mean, if we do not know the physical, we do not know the spiritual. So we have to pray to God that we actually have to protect ourselves. God's the only one that can protect us. And honestly, we are, let's say, as fragile as butterflies. We are so fragile, guys. Our minds are as fragile as butterflies compared to God because we cannot withstand against God with its understanding wisdom. We just cannot. And if He is going to give His wisdom to us, we might just let ourselves not understand what He's talking about, but be in awe and a wonder and know that, wow, we do not understand anything at all compared to God. Nothing in spiritual terms compared to God, except for protection. Because honestly, we can have as much wisdom as we want, and compared to the humans of the earth, like we can have all kinds of wisdom, but we cannot have the wisdom of God. We cannot. In heaven, we'll have vast wisdom of probably possibly God, but there's also something that I would like to tell you. There are levels of superiority. So on the bottom is rock, or what we call the foundation of everything. That's where we came from, dust and rock. Then the next thing up is a plant. Now, this is not atheism. This is something that we call Christianity. The next thing that we call up from there is a plant, which is really what God created next. Then the animals. He created that next. Then humanity. That's four. And the next thing that God puts in the ranking is the angels. Even the demons and the devil is the angels because they are the fallen angels. They will be next on the list to go down. But you'll see that's the angels. And the next on the list is us in glorified heaven. We'll be able to see that when we get to heaven. And the last one is God. He's number 7. Because God is the only one that is truly awesomely powerful and awesome in knowledge. He is perfect in all his ways. And today, I just figured that out. I mean, here's this person who knows he's really bright, but really, compared to God, I'm just nothing. I'm really fragile like a butterfly compared to God in all my ways. And do you know what a butterfly has for wings? It's when people touch the butterfly's wings, it was like butter. And the butterflies have a certain problem with the wings, like the structure of the wings are so fragile that if you actually even just touch it like this, like just like this, you kill a butterfly. I mean, God will not kill us when He touches us, but when He touches us with His wisdom, He kills our understanding. That's what He does. That's what He did with Job, with all his understanding. Just a touch of His understanding really killed Job with his understanding. He no longer wants to understand all kinds of things like God really wants to understand. I really can't take all that knowledge compared to God. It would be too much for me. But really, this vast knowledge is beautiful. It's that touch of knowledge that really just shakes things up in a beautiful way. So, when God tells me to do something, I do it because He understands everything and His superiority. For when Jesus saw into people's minds, even how does He do that? I don't know. Remember that Jesus is God, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is the Son of Man, Son of God, and all that. Jesus is all of that. And to sum things up, Jesus is the Lord, and there's only one Lord, which is God. It's like you're calling someone a land god, but you're just calling someone a landlord. So all we should call those people is land kings. Yeah, we should have called them land kings. But I guess people don't like kings, do they? Because they're easily offended. Just remember that there's only one Lord, and He is really filled with understanding. I mean, I mean, just wow. Comprehend that imagination, and I mean, you cannot be God. I mean, you can create a robot. You can create a computer. You can create, a video. You can create a light bulb. You can create a house. You can create pixels. You can create anything that you want. But really, you cannot create a rock. You may think you can create a rock, but you cannot. You can create things with a rock, like plastic, and trees and rocks with, like plastic, You may recycle things and create metal with rock, but you cannot create a rock, which means you cannot create life. You can influence life, like you can influence a tree, but you cannot create life. Only God can, not even the angels can. And that's just to prove how powerful He really is, and how much superiority and how much vast wisdom He has. He is Alpha and Omega. He knows everything. He knows all this. We do not. We know very little to nothing compared to Him. And honestly, we have nothing compared to Him. That's it. When it comes to creation, we have nothing but this. If we have a project, I would say God has a plan to even create diamond. But yet, I do not want to give you the information on how to create a diamond because I don't know how well it will work. I don't know how safe it will be. I don't know if it will create an actual realistic diamond. But I will give you one thing that we already do know. Peanut butter and cold water, then boiling water, I think, turns coal into a certain rock crystal-like form. But if you make wood turn to cold, and actually, quite frankly, put it in ice water for a very, very long time, like several years, and put it in a hot boiling place for several years, then we can see if we have diamond. All materials come from somewhere. If you want to create fuels, then go ahead. Ask God first how to create fuel. But I don't think he's going to tell you, is he? If you were to ask God how to make a much more efficient, let's say, solar panel, how to get electricity from it, he might tell you. He might tell you for the future, but not for fossil fuels. Remember, ask God what to do, for he has much he has huge amount of knowledge. He has great knowledge, the greatest in the whole entire universe, infinite knowledge. Just ask him how to create the perfect solar panel, and he'll give the answer. Quite honestly, nothing in this universe is infinite, but God's knowledge. I think he might be able to create some other place that has infinite value and lasts infinite amount of time. But remember, right now, people, our minds, our bodies, everything about us is as frail as a butterfly compared to God. That's how frail we are. If you didn't listen the first time, touch a butterfly wing and you will kill it. That's how frail a butterfly really is. Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.